Hello and welcome back. Rides like today is exactly what the Harley Davidson's made for, because today I'm heading to Cornwall, the southwesterly tip of England, for the next 10 days. I'll spend a bit of time with family, but also it's just a nice excuse to spend some time by the sea. This will be 8.5 hours and 370 miles. I've been so excited to have any excuse to do massive mileage on the Harley in a day, and this is the perfect trip. Traffic and a little bit of weather permitting, of course. I should have mile after mile of empty, open roads with, I hope, good weather. Panniers packed up, waterproofs, etc., etc. And there, a little bit of food and some water in the left side. I will meet Monika later, who's going to be coming down to Cornwall, I think sometime at about 9 or 10 p.m. So I'm going solo. I'm going to be heading down to the south coast of England, maybe get lunch in Brighton, and from there hug the southerly coast all the way along to Cornwall, probably for the last 5 hours or so of the journey. 9:20 now, so it's bright and early. I aim to be at my parents' for dinner, 7 p.m. There's not a moment to waste. Let's hit the road. Never underestimate what the British weather can do, even in the height of summer. About 40 minutes after leaving, I had to put on my thermals and my waterproofs as well, because it just started to rain and it got borderline unpleasantly cold actually. So all of my thermals, all of the waterproofs on, although luckily it cleared up and I'm on the south coast. Beautiful area that I'm not sure if I've been to. I always go to Brighton, which is a couple of miles that way, but this is Hove, and I've stopped at a place I've heard about before, because if I've got the right place, I think I know the owner of Flatout Cafe. It's bikes/coffee, so it sounds like a dream place for me. So I'll go in, grab a coffee. If they've got a bite to eat, I'll get something as well, and then on to the final 5 hours or so. It's so nice leaving a little bit early for any kind of bigger road trip on a bike, because it means that you can just pick your spot, stop off, make it more relaxing, and everything always takes about 2 hours longer with me as well. So beautiful amount of time. The bike is riding like a dream, and that extra tank range, I think it's about 230 miles. Is my rough guess at the moment for a range. Instead of 140 miles for the Bonneville, just step out the way of the bus, almost got my hand knocked off. That range makes a massive difference. Significantly less stops, and I hate stopping for fuel. So that is a huge plus for me. I love it. It never gets old, being able to sit somewhere right next to your bike, have a coffee, have a bite to eat, and just admire. And that Sport Glide is just about as good as it gets for a bike to just sit back and admire. I was talking to someone a couple of days ago, trying to sell the benefits of the UK for biking. We may not have the weather, it's very often coldish and wet, but what we do have, an almost unmatchable biking culture. Wherever you go in the UK, you can find a very cool little biker bar, biker cafe, coffee shop, place that sells gear, just like this, Flatout Cafe. South coast of England, pull up the bike outside, go inside, delicious coffee, bite to eat, and gear downstairs. And also, on top of that, now that there are gigantic heat waves in especially the south of Europe, temperatures getting to 40, 42 degrees, genuinely, it may now for once be a selling point that the UK is still nice and cool. Before I head off, I've come back down to the gear section because they've got a really nice selection of Rogue helmets. And I've never owned a Rogue helmet before, but they're really nice in the flesh, and I think I'd consider one as my next helmet. So this one's the Rogue Chase. Very, very stripped back, minimal and simple. See if I can find a price, and if I can't, I'll write the price at the bottom of the screen. But that's a lovely looking helmet, the Chase. And they also do this, I think they call it Enduro style helmet as well, which also looks great with that visor up, or that visor on the top of it. Tempted by these. Really good looking helmets, and then open face helmets as well, and they look low profile. All of this here, all of it's Rogue. Very, very simple, stripped back, elegant looking helmets. I would say these are some of the best looking helmets I've seen. And they do 3 more here as well, different colours. And really low profile, look. That one in bronze, that is a lovely, lovely looking thing. Well, the weather's getting better and better. I've got 4 hours left and 220 miles. So I may potentially actually make it on this tank. I've just done my first fill up. Just before I left Flatout Cafe, I was chatting to the owners. They've done such a good job. I think they only started the business about a year ago, and they were the couple who were serving coffees, so I'm sure I got some B-roll of them. Started a year ago. They've got the clothing section downstairs, but they're planning to turn the loo area past the clothing section into additional clothing shop space. And then in the back, just behind the shop, they've got a courtyard area, and they're turning that into seating, so additional places to eat and have a coffee. And then once a month, they do a bike night meet as well, where lots of different bikers will all meet up, park directly outside, and I think it's been so popular recently, it will actually overflow onto the pavement. So it's a real biker hub there. You can see some bikers coming and going, just doing a bit of work, having a coffee, heading off on their bike. It's a lovely little spot. And if you're in the area or planning a little bit of a road trip, I very, very highly recommend add that to a stop for your trip. I've been riding about 4 hours. Honestly, it's so comfy. I feel like I could ride 12 hours with no issue at all. Just had my last little stop at Starbucks, sandwich and a coffee, 2 hours left and 100 miles. Still feeling fresh as a daisy. Just as I left the last service station, I couldn't believe this. In fact, I'll rewind a bit for anyone relatively new to the channel. Last year, when I rode down to Barcelona, I was at a service station and an Irish gentleman comes up to me and he says, "I'm so embarrassed. I've lost my wallet and I've lost all my debit cards. Could you lend me some money so I could get back to Ireland?" And I saw just in the corner of the car park a beautiful Mercedes full of his Irish friends, all of working age, and somehow they'd all lost their wallets. So I said, "No, sorry, can't give any money to anyone at the service station," and I went inside stupidly to the loo. I came back out and my laptop had been robbed. Now that was stupid of me because I knew these people were in the car park and I should just have left and not trusted anything on my bike at all. But that's my fault. I've learned my lesson. But as I was leaving this car park, a lovely smiling gentleman waves me down and I'm thinking, okay, got someone who's curious about the bike. Of course, I'm happy to chat. So I stop in the car park and it's like, I am, in a thick Irish accent, I am so embarrassed. And I thought, okay, here we go. What I should have done is said, look, I probably know this speech better than you. Let me just save you some time here. You and all of your friends in the BMW over there have all lost your wallets and your debit cards and you're desperately looking for any way to get back to Ireland. And if I could just give you maybe just £100 or £200, the second you're back on Irish soil, you'll pay me back. But I thought, no, that's jumping the gun, that's not fair, so let's give this guy a chance. So I said, of course, what's wrong? And he said, we've all lost our wallets. We can't get our debit cards working, but we just need some way to get back to Ireland. Is there anything you can do to help me? This time, because I've learnt from last time, politely declined, rode off, and as I was riding off, unfortunately, I almost feel like I have to hold a banner. There's a thief here in the car park. I watched him heading over to another car to do exactly the same. But these people must be going around car parks in Europe, making a decent enough living to buy these nice cars. The world we live in. Okay, I'll hit the road. Final 2 hours to go. Weather's just getting better and better. I completely forgot to wrap up the video yesterday because I went straight over for a chat and a catch up with my parents. The Harley Davidson yesterday, very close to 400 miles actually in reality, and I got in at about 7:20. So with the stops, it was a good 10 hours on the road, and I loved every single second with it. It was a stunningly good long distance machine. Really stunningly good. I know I always talk about liking simple, lesser powered bikes, but there is something about having that power on tap whenever you need it. It's a really, really nice feeling. Not so much where it's promoting you to go at ridiculous speeds, but just in that sensible power band, excess power from that gigantic engine. It's quite addictive. I have to check my diary, but I think this goes back in about 4 days' time. And I think, if my memory serves me correctly, I've got the Triumph Rocket coming in a few days' time, and there should be an overlap where in the garage I'll have a Triumph Rocket and this Harley Davidson. So I may be able to compare them side by side, which I'm extremely excited about. So this will be, well, the start of a few videos from here in Cornwall with 2 gigantic motorbikes. Thanks so much everyone for watching. Please do give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one.